Hey dolls, I kind of wanted to try a different little vibe here. So just ignore this game in the background. This is just a game I can play and talk at the same time. I should state the obvious first, which is sorry I've been MIA. I've been just sick. And you know how when you're just sick and all you want to do is just like rot, basically. Yeah, that's kind of where I've been at. I don't really truthfully know what I want to talk about, but you know, this is just gonna be a yap sesh, and you can just put this on in the background because I'm not gonna be editing this too cray cray. I actually, not too long ago, kind of called out of work. I mean, I was already at work, but I was there for half a day, and I was like, would you guys hate me if I left because I feel like shit? And so, but I was inspired today about a video that I saw by, I think it's Rasputin. I don't know how to say his name, but he did a video on good games are like bad games are good. Like I don't know how to say it. He said it in a much more elegant, better way, but basically the premise of the video was that Tears of the Kingdom, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, there's tons of videos on the internet about how everyone's like, man, it sucks, like it's like a great game still, but it's like got so many flaws, it was disappointing, all this stuff. And he was like, you know, yes, there is some very real problems, but also I love that game and I've had a ton of fun on that game. And he was basically saying those things don't have to be mutually exclusive. A game can be good and bad at the same time, and you can still love it and still have a lot of joy for it. And I don't know, maybe that's obvious to everyone, and I'm just simply, you know, a little zygote-brained, but I don't know, it was kind of a nice reminder for myself of like, you don't need to, like, I don't need to defend games that I like. You know what I mean? If you don't like a game, then that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, we can agree to disagree. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying this like you guys would do that to me. I'm just saying this like in general of like, you know, that kind of stuff. But then I was also like reading the comments on that video, and someone made a good point of like, it's been like a thing that's been happening more and more in like the modern era that we're in right now of life, and just like it gets even worse on the internet, where like things I'm talking about specifically games here, by the way. Things cannot be like in a middle ground or be like, you know, it's good, but it's just got some problems that do suck or whatever. It's like they're either trash, it's a trash garbage game and you should never play it and your whole family should get killed if you play that game, or it's the best game ever and if you say you don't like this game, I'm going to run you over with a semi-truck. And I kind of have to agree, there is so much discourse I've seen over the internet about things. Like, I think the thing that comes to mind right now for me is like the Switch 2. And like, to be fair, I do agree with some parts of it. Like the Switch 2 being as expensive as it is, I think is insane. But like, also, that has to do with tariffs, and that is something out of my control. So if I sat there and agonized over it and like nonstop complained, and you know what I mean, like spent so much time and energy on that, I would just be miserable all the time. And I think that's kind of where I agree with that guy of like, good games can be bad. Like, good games aren't necessarily perfect 10 out of 10s. They are usually like 8 out of 10s where they're really good, but they just have some flaws in them for sure that maybe make the thing a little bit tricky at times and maybe frustrating at times. Like, I think of games that I definitely have a blind side to, and like if we're kind of talking about this in video games and that kind of conversation, I will say, I've noticed this a while ago, and it's something that I remember used to irritate me a lot, but then I also realized I do the same thing, so I was like, who cares? But there seems to be like this thing where, like, if a game is nostalgic for you, like it came out during your childhood and you played it a lot and you just have a lot of fond memories of that, then that game is really good in your opinion. Like, a good example for right now is wow, if I could talk. An Oblivion remaster just came out for Skyrim. I believe it's called Skyrim. I don't know. But the Oblivion remaster came out, and people have been going left and right. I've seen so many videos, seen so many things online of people being like, this is amazing, like, finally, like, you know, some good shit and all this stuff like that. And it's like, to me, Skyrim and Oblivion and like the Elder Scroll games, I think are boring. And I felt like a lot of what I was seeing online, I was like, I feel like these people are definitely blinded by nostalgia, where they are, those memories of them playing as a kid overtakes and all this stuff. Like, I saw in Oblivion that to like increase your acrobatics, you just spam jumping. You know what I mean? And I find that very silly. Like, why would I want to sit there and try to level up just being able to jump higher? You know what I mean? Like, that seems very silly to me, and I don't like that. But then also it's like, I like Wiz a lot. Wiz is very nostalgic for me, and I have a lot of love for that game. But I can also understand that Wiz isn't the greatest either. It had specifically the company behind it has made a lot of questionable decisions. I definitely don't agree with some of the staffing choices that are made on in that gaming company's kind of company situation going on there. But yeah, it was very interesting to realize that, and to watch that video and to think about it and to be like, oh, like, I shouldn't have to feel the compulsion to defend my games to other people, especially people online. I shouldn't have to defend the games that I like online, because I'm sure there's some games that people will enjoy, or in this scenario, a person I'm talking to, where I'm gonna be like, I really don't like that game. But that also, you have, you know, it doesn't mean they're a horrible person. It doesn't mean, you know, they deserve ill and all that stuff. And I don't know, maybe that's all obvious, and I'm not saying I was going out there and being rude to people because they didn't have the same opinion as me. I didn't do that. But I don't know, it was just a nice little reminder and a nice, like, come back to reality moment of, like, you know, I think we kind of get caught up in things a little bit, and then it's nice to get that breath of fresh air from someone who's like, yeah, it's not that deep. And then you're like, oh, yeah, you're right, you know? And I don't know. I've been thinking about that a lot, of how I think I used to be really anxious about other people's opinions of me, even online, like even in Wiz, like other people's opinions of me. And it's like, I shouldn't be worrying about that. I should just play this game how I want to play. If I'm having fun, if I'm enjoying myself, if I'm, you know, not harming anyone, then it's like, you know, just have fun. I've thought about making scripted videos of like those video essayists where they go and they make a script and they kind of go through the script, break things down, but they usually have a kind of set topic. Like, surrounding a specific game is usually one of the easiest ways to do it, and all that good stuff. And then there's ones where it's like, you know, maybe a certain topic. Like, I'm all over the place when I talk, and I think you guys can attest to that. I don't really stick to one topic for very long. Mostly because I think the fun of conversation for me is just, we could talk about anything and everything. It doesn't matter what it's about. It's the fact that we can talk about it. If I wanted to talk about twerking for like 2 hours, I could do that. You know what I mean? So I think, also I'm pretty sure I have ADHD. So like, I think that definitely plays a big part of it. But, I also think about how I've been really embarrassed to say that one of my big main interests in life is games, like gaming and like video games. I've been very embarrassed to say that because there is this stereotype where if you like video games, you live in your mom's basement, you eat Doritos, and you drink Mountain Dew, and and you're racist and homophobic, and like that is kind of it. It's obviously not actually true, because I love video games, and video games are my hobby, and I do love gaming. Like, I really do. I like staying up to date. I like going on Twitter and seeing, you know, those news accounts being like, hey, this new game's coming out, new trailer just dropped, or they just teased that the sequel's gonna be releasing next year, and I don't know. It was definitely my own anxiety that was causing me to feel that way, so unfortunately I just have no one to blame but myself for that. But also, it's like, I wish that stereotype didn't exist. You know what I mean? I wish that I would have had maybe a little bit more time to come to that conclusion quicker. But, you know, it is what it is, and all you can do, I guess, is move forward through it, you know? And, luckily, where I'm at in my life right now, I feel more confident in the knowledge about myself than I ever have in my life. And so I definitely feel more comfortable saying that I like video games. And I play video games in my spare time, and I really enjoy it, and I get really into them, and I like watching videos about video games, because honestly, there's been some videos on video games and like stuff like that has like made me like cry, because it's so beautiful. And I really do think video games and the act of creating a video game and putting together the soundtrack, the visuals, the coding for the physical gameplay, putting together the story, storyboarding, kind of fishing it all together, that is a form of art to me. I think it is genuine art. And something that I try to remind myself of too when it comes to that is that art is subjective, and video games, like I just said, I think is art. So in that sense, video games are also subjective. You know, like, just because someone doesn't like GTA 20 doesn't mean that I have to hate them because I love GTA 20, or that they're wrong, or that they're evil, you know? And so that was definitely something that I was really happy to kind of... It's definitely, I found that I am very passionate about video games, because I'll be honest, I think there's some certain video games out there that I think kind of saved my life a little bit. You know, where I don't know if I would have lasted much longer if it wasn't for those games. And one of those games is Wizard 101 for me. And it's just a silly children's card game MMO from the 2000s. But I don't know. I think about how much I think about little like me as a kid who literally non-stop thought about that game and only wanted to talk about that game, think about that game, play that game. Like, I wanted nothing else to do. And, you know, I definitely don't play it as much as I used to because, it's sad because when you become an adult and you grow and age up, you kind of see the more unsavory side of gaming and companies and just real life of expenses and, you know, having to become an adult. And, it definitely sours some things about the gaming industry. But I think the plus side is that even though despite all that and despite how as I've grown up I've kind of not felt so happy about the gaming industry, and I definitely get a little jaded about it sometimes, that I still love gaming. I to my core, I still love gaming, and I will always love gaming, and I will always have such a fond... Oh my god, I'm gonna die. I got stuck. But I will always have the utmost respect for people who make games and go through all that, and like I think of games that have affected me so much, like Wiz, Amori, Undertale from back in the day was revolutionary, Everhood, Remains of Edith Finch, you know, like those kinds of games. And yeah, I think it's such an art form. It means so much to me. And, you know, I'm still working on not getting embarrassed about it. But also, I just get embarrassed so easily. So much to breathe. And I would be like, wow, I need to jump off the divide because I'm such an embarrassing cringe lord. You know, so think about, like, what inspires me? Like, fastest track to inspire me. What is some content or, you know, whatever can I engage in, consume, that will give me some inspiration, that will make me happy, that will make me kind of believe that the world isn't so cruel, you know? And I think about video games and gaming, and if it's not that, then it's content creators on YouTube that I really enjoy that bring me a lot of happiness. And I watch like 99% video game YouTubers or gaming adjacent YouTubers. And yeah, just like, this is okay, what I'm about to say is objectively cringe, and I apologize, but like, you have to understand, I was obsessed with this woman for like over a year, so like, unfortunately, I just have these things memorized. And this song just means a lot to me as well. But there is a song by Taylor Swift. I think it's either called Afterglow or Daylight. I think it's Daylight. And she, at the very end of the song, she has on the outro, she shares this spoken part where she's like, I don't want to be defined by the things that I hate or that I'm afraid of. I want to be defined by the things that I love. And I really am trying to embrace that, or at least take some steps towards that, of like, you know, I also would like that. I also would like to take, you know, to stop giving power to the things that scare me and make me sad, and just be like, you know, video games do make me happy, and video games are my hobby, and all that good stuff. I think I definitely was too embarrassed about that for a while in my life. Now it's just like taking that time back and being like, you know, I don't need to be embarrassed about that anymore. But yeah, hopefully this all makes sense. It's kind of all over the place a little bit, but a girl just yaps, you know? And I will say, I am an opinionated person. I think you guys have said that to me already before, of like, Carter, you are opinionated. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Even though me, who, like, that's the most, budging, unmoving opinions about the most inane things. But, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm only having such passionate and strong opinions about those things because, you know, like I've been saying, like, gaming and stuff is important to me, and I often think about, like, well, I don't want to say often, but I do think about sometimes that, you know, gaming is one of those things where if I didn't have it, if I didn't have access to it, if it didn't exist, I don't really know what I would do. I don't know how I would really continue on in some ways, because, like, I don't know, girl, like, that means a lot to me. I don't know how people be like YouTubers and shit, because you have to, like, yap uncontrollably for, and I like talking, I literally talked about it, oh my god, but I literally just talked about it, like, I love talking, I really do, but then it's like, I feel like I'm talking way too much, you know what I mean? I'm like, sorry, I'm taking up the entire conversation, but also I'm talking to myself, so, like, you know, but I guess I could kind of, move on to talking about exciting gaming related things that are coming out. Switch 2's coming out, that'll be cool. Kind of just waiting till it actually drops and then kind of maybe deciding from there. I really want to play the new Mario Kart. It looks really cute, it looks really fun. Love a good Mario Kart moment. It's like, oh, they tease that they're coming out with a new Kirby Air Ride, which I think is really, that'll be really cute and really fun. Trying to think of other games. There's like another game that I really want to play, and I'm like completely blanking on what game that was. I think it's on the Switch too. I just can't remember. I actually am interested in trying, like, oh, it's Legends ZA. Sorry, I just remembered. Pokemon Legends ZA, please be really good. I do not like tournament arcs. Like, in anime and video games, I've never liked the whole tournament arc idea thing. I generally find it a little boring. But that's just me. I would say, that I'm still excited for it. My only worry is just that it was announced that the kind of thing with that Pokemon game is that it's during the daytime, it's like regular catch your Pokemon, battle trainers, whatnot. But then there's like an entire tournament style thing going on at night where you're battling trainers to go from rank Z, which is the bottom, to rank A at the very top. And that's interesting, and it does seem like there might be some more story beats to this, but also I'm not entirely sure about that, because in recent games, I would not say Pokemon's story is its strong suit. I would say it's this part that kind of sucks the most. But I don't know. I'll be hopeful. They put, I think his name is just ZA, isn't it? That big tall man to survive the Pokemon War. I think that's literally the story of X and Y, is there was a Pokemon War. But he survived the Pokemon War and he's in that game. And I don't know. I just hope they lean into that a bit more and they really go for it, you know?